Hi, I'm Daniel and welcome to r/shower thoughts. Oxygen could actually smell really bad, and our noses have just gotten used to the smell. Babies cry all the time because the air smells so bad, and they haven't gotten used to the smell yet. Calling a forest the woods is the same thing as calling a desert the sands or the ocean or a lake the waters. Your most vulnerable moment is after you spend 45 minutes on the toilet browsing the interwebs, and then you stand up with legs made of TV static. The only difference between mummies and zombies is moisture. If mermaids were real, they'd be really fat like seals to sustain the freezing water. Men can redirect the blood in their body to a certain point with just a thought. Gamers wear headphones to hear bullets. Gunners wear earmuffs to not hear bullets. The fact Blair Witch was viewed by many as a documentary during opening weekend has to be one of the greatest marketing accomplishments in history. Your age in years is how many times you've circled the sun, but your age in months is how many times the moon has circled you. If our butt crack was aligned horizontally instead of vertically, our cheeks would clap when we run. Anything in the sky is a UFO until you figure out what it is. Social media is the modern gold rush. Early content creators were able to make it big, but now the market is flooded with prospectors, many who will never make it big. Glass becomes more dangerous the smaller it gets. Warning labels aren't meant to protect consumers from injury. They are meant to protect suppliers from liability. We'd feel a lot worse about squishing bugs if they were able to scream. People who announce they have peanut allergies do so to prevent people from killing them, but such an announcement also makes it easier for people to kill them. You never see an ice cream truck filling up to get gas. Searching for a new laptop on your old laptop is kinda like making a person dig their own grave. High school teachers will teach you about plagiarism from a slide show they stole from the internet. When you live the experience, you'll regret not recording it. When you record the experience, you'll regret not living it. If you choose not to have kids as an only child, you just ended millions of years of your family's bloodline. Since your memory prioritizes remembering things that are out of the ordinary, cringing at your past self for screwing up just indicates that screwing up is not a regular thing you do. Life is a pyramid scheme. You are brought into it and told repeatedly that you have to bring others into it as well. McAfee is a virus your computer comes pre-installed with that constantly tries to sell you virus protection while simultaneously slowing down your computer. If a piece of technology was ever created to allow us to control our dreams, marketers would inevitably use it to give us ads in our sleep. Getting older is the process of grunting more often while doing mundane tasks. When addressing a dog, we assume it understands every word say. When discussing a dog, we assume it doesn't understand a word we say. Either way, dogs must be incredibly confused by it all. You feel far more pain when you see it coming than when it happens by complete surprise. One of the most random and weird universally accepted things is that people become adults at 18 or 21 years old. If we gave horses party hats on their birthday, they'd get to be a unicorn one day of the year. When stating pi, you can simply memorize the first 10 digits, then begin to say random numbers and no one will know. Farting is the trailer, pooping is the movie. Stuff that we usually think of as being objectively real, such as chairs and tables, may be just a part of a simulation, while stuff we usually think of as being subjective, such as pain and love, are undeniably real because we experience them firsthand. We had the technology in the 60s to land on the moon, but didn't have the technology to fake it yet. How many great ideas have we lost because someone forgot their dream? When you create fake arguments in your head, it's your brain trying to waste its energy, so you have to postpone tasks where you have to focus. If you eat meat, at some point you would have eaten enough meat to reform that animal again. Putting almonds in almond milk is the same as putting ice in water. When we die, atoms scatter and form into different things, so there's a chance you have the same atoms that Elvis had. You don't really wash your hands, they wash each other while you just standing there. Many big city bars charge more for a Manhattan than the Dutch actually paid for the island. Water is colorless, and yet it's almost always associated with the color blue. Humans are the only species to have any knowledge about their own inner workings. As a society, we have continuously spent more time on the toilet, first with the creation of newspapers and the internet. Maybe ancient Egyptians didn't worship cats, but just really liked them. In 3,000 years, if any of our media survives, with all the cat pictures and videos out there, people could make the same assumptions about us. We will never know what the bottom of the ocean smells like. People who bought a brand new car have the newest car in the world for a few seconds. Any fact about yourself that you've never told to anyone is technically one of the unknown secrets of the universe. There was a higher chance for you to die to the Black Plague in 1347 than for you to have food on the table every night. It's funny how we think it's so amazing that this planet just happens to have perfect conditions for humans, even though it's humans that grew and evolved around the planet's conditions. It's incredible that in 500 years, people will have full clear HD pictures and videos what was like 500 years ago. A common clock has its second hand swing approximately 1 kilometer every day. People always say that if you don't do well you'll end up going to clown college, but clown college is statistically harder to get into than Harvard. Whenever you fantasize about doing something, you're probably peeking into the life of a parallel you. Saying a film bombed at the box office and a film blew up at the box office have polar opposite meanings. When in a dream, you don't usually think about how you were just in bed a second ago. You might have a dollar bill in your wallet you spent 10 years ago. Blind service dogs are the smartest dogs, not because they help blind humans function, but because they are the only dog that walks humans, rather than being walked. Jeff Bezos could give $15 to everyone on Earth and still have over $5 billion left. Round things roll was a major discovery at some point. I'm really glad we all decided on clapping our hands together instead of clacking our teeth. We are entertained on a daily basis from different arrangements of red, blue, and green lights. Showing your work in school is the most useless real world task. Your boss will never tell you show your work after you give them an answer. They just go with it and find out if you're wrong later. If you drink water and piss at the same time you're essentially a hose made of meat. On the daily, we either kill insect or deport it out of our house. The consequences of loving somebody too much will always outweigh the consequences of not loving them enough. Noses run and feet smell. We park in driveways and drive on parkways. What a backwards world we live in. Humans like to think of themselves as being the most privileged species of all, but we are the only species that isn't allowed to urinate or defecate wherever we want. It's amazing that the amount of news that happens in the world every day always just exactly fits the newspaper. The robot dance won't make sense in the future when robot movement becomes as fluid as a human. In a restaurant, while you are waiting for your food, you are the waiter. There are probably many very funny jokes that were never told because the teller stuttered. We give rude elderly people the benefit of the doubt because they've been through a lot, but there's a decent chance that old person has been an asshole their whole life. People who think lizard people control the world wouldn't seem crazy in the Marvel universe. Scientists discover more about the past as we all slowly move away from it. All animals on Earth could have been spies that were sent to scope out the area of Earth before we invaded it. Satan may have been a unicorn with an extra horn mutation, but was outcasted because people are naturally bigots. Gravity could have been discovered way before if Newton paid attention while peeing. As a society, we are definitely becoming more tolerant of others' choices except for the choice to drive below the speed limit. Baby on board signs suggest that the driver is lacking a lot of sleep. The only time first world problem doesn't come across as judgy is when a person says it referring to themselves. You never sweat inside your ear. People who have their cars or Team Logos as their profile pics are the same as the people who have an anime profile pic. Some of us get so good at lying to ourselves to get the life that we develop opinions that even we don't agree with. Anything can be a weapon if it is moving fast enough. It'd be cool if your mind held an annual award show dream with one of the categories being best dream of the year. Superstitions were probably made up by people with OCD before the disorder had been identified. Your memory works perfectly when you're trying to sleep, but not when you need it the most. Every moment, someone is unknowingly the happiest person on the planet. Life must be so entertaining for people who believe reality shows, laughing tracks, and scripted gifs are real. People who drive must have stronger ankles than people who take public transport.